Okay, so good morning everyone, and welcome to this amazing panel that we have today. We've learned that AI can be applied to make healthcare cost-effective, improve the quality of life of the patients, and deliver some outcomes. We're going to discover how generative AI is changing the future of healthcare, and we'll try to deep dive into some use cases and some early results. Let me introduce the panel again, because we have the corporate perspective, the venture capital perspective, and also a medical device company that a huge company operating in that space. We have Guido, Vice President of Radiology, Head of Imaging and Data, AI Research Center of Excellence at Bayer. We have Irina, Evstifeeva, Market Development Structural Head at Medtronic. And we have the perspective of venture capital that is always super valuable for all the companies that are attending the conference, partner at the Karist VC. So let me introduce myself also. This is Jorge Blasco, and I'm a partner at LUMO Labs. It's a impact-driven technology fund investing in deep tech digital health. And we've done some investment here in the digital space. For example, we invested in Health Plus, that it's a company that it's using AI to prevent, before curing, prevent what are the complications of after surgery. No, that's a nice company. We have some other old companies in AI, like real-time transcription, or for example, WISP that is using AI to create a better life for those with voice disorders. But let's get started, and I would like to ask a question for all of you. Perhaps, I don't know if you, Amine, want to start. What are the earliest applications and results of generative AI that you can share from your experience?
Anybody wants to get started, or yeah?
Would you like to start?
Please.
Well, first of all, thank you very much for the opportunity to share. I think generative AI is a big topic for healthcare, for all sectors. Of course, for medtech, it's a big bet. We do have, let me just put it in two parts for you. I think the devices by themselves become more smart, and generative AI-enabled features become part of the devices. And in this case, of course, we can talk about, from cardiology devices that help to detect false positives in cardiac monitoring, to devices that help to predict or identify polyps during the colonoscopy. This is something that we have been seeing lately. On the other side, we also have applications of generative AI that pertains to address barriers of capacity, efficiency, patient path flow, and that's something maybe different that we have seen, and maybe my co-panelists here can also share examples on that side, but that would be two different areas I would think about.
And Amine,
Yeah, I think there are multiple areas to Irina's point. The area where we've seen a lot of tangible impact so far is the imaging space, simply because it's a space where there's a strong appetite for innovation, there's a lot of data, there's a lot of structured data, and we can very quickly see how we can improve diagnostic, improve workflows, lower costs, and so on. I would say that in the other spaces, the jury is still very much out. There is a lot of promise, but you think about things like drug discovery and drug development, a lot of things are happening. We see there's a lot of excitement around the space. We also believe in the potential, but I think that we have not had any tangible proof points yet. So I would say imaging, number one, and it's probably the one where we're going to continue seeing some significant innovation, significant improvements, but also adoption. And I think that being able to do the full circle is going to be critical to continue fueling innovation in that area.
And well, I have a specific question for you, Guido, because which generative AI and use cases does Bayer prioritize? For example, how Bayer is leveraging AI for personalized medicine, drug development acceleration, or the patient engagement.
Yeah, so also first of all, thanks for having me. Agreeing to what Irina and Amine already introduced, especially the medical imaging field is at the forefront, like radiology is at the forefront in general, in adapting new technologies. On Bayer, we truly focus on what is good for the customer, what is good for the patient, and in long-lasting cycle times for drug discovery and compound development. Yeah, we still are in the phase of 7 to 10 years for a new treatment compound. We try really to use generative AI or overarchingly AI to boost productivity, to accelerate time to market, to accelerate time for molecule detection, target identification, stuff like that. And here also in collaborations, again with Google or InstaDeep, looking or AlphaFold, how we can predict the behavior of molecules early on to identify the right targets, and then transfer what Amine also said when we move with the compound into the clinical development phase, using the simple tools of Gen AI like large language models to identify the right study designs, to help to have assistance in writing the better study protocols, to find the better patient population, and then bringing the compound to the market. And the same holds true for the medical imaging field, where we have launched a platform to first time enable not just Bayer, but the industry to develop scalable and compliant AI solutions. That goes further, first achievements, a generation of synthetic data. Why? So looking into rare disease spaces where you don't have access to a lot of data. Can we use this new technology more in that field? What we also see, maybe two last points, you mentioned, I mean, workflow. Radiology suite is privileged for that, but the whole hospital environment, I think the nurses, they will benefit also significantly from solutions that will come with Gen AI support. And finally, it's a long way. Yeah, we will come, I think, to discuss this later. So with all the hype and the hope we can have, look when the first X-ray was invented and used, and where we are today. Yeah. So I think that also gives a little bit magnitude, and we should be patient and focus really where can we create impact.
Yeah, if I can maybe just double click on 2 points. To your point on the whole impact on AI on drug discovery, I fully agreed that we can already bring a lot of advantages like upstream, really at the drug discovery stage. But when it comes, as you're going downstream, biology needs time, and I'm not sure how much AI can really sort of disrupt that chain and accelerate it, because it just needs time. Running a clinical trial, you can optimize it. You can, with the use of AI and leveraging some data, you can potentially better design it, but you still have to do it. Like if you need to put patients on a drug for a certain period and have a follow-up period, I don't know to what extent AI can ever disrupt that. So yes, you can get efficiencies upstream, but not necessarily throughout the whole value chain.
And maybe to double click again, if I may, on that one, very interesting. Yes, and I think with tools like digital twins, or digital clinical trial arms, you can simulate and model, and with the connectivity of data across the healthcare ecosystem, across maybe even variables that all of us might have in the one or the other format, you can maybe shorten the trial period. Yes, biology needs time, but we can maybe predict the outcomes in a better way, and with that we can cure accessible earlier. That's the hope, that's the bet. Yep. We are not there, and we need to answer a lot of questions, also from the medtech perspective, I think. What is reliable AI, what is trustworthy AI, how we deal with the regulation, and also from the society perspective, how we as a patient are willing to go that way.
For sure.
And another question mark maybe also for all of us in the audience, how we make it pay. Yeah, how reimbursement is looking like for digital solutions. It's also a big topic.
Yep.
More questions than answers.
So very interesting topics, no? The radiology and AI, and also the digital twin. So those areas are of under interest. But I would like to ask if you have some specific solutions, no? And you, Guido, you have the radiology space, and I mean, you mentioned that that's something of interest. We are actively, as a venture capitalists, putting a lot of attention in this area. What are the potential companies that you see that could come up in the future in the radiology space?
Just want to say something quickly. If you give a venture capitalist the opportunity to showcase their portfolio, they're not going to shut up. So if you get me started there, I'll spend an hour talking about our companies and how great they are. So maybe I'll pass on this one.
Irina, would you like to go first? Otherwise,
I will let you the floor. I think
okay.
it's...
So, thanks. First of all, also, let me try to give a radiology example here. The quality of a medical image comes from the medical device per se, but also from contrast. When we talk about a CT or MRI, contrast plays a significant role to detect pathologies that have some bad signals, so to say. So a medical image has a variety of more than 4,000 image points, voxels, pixels, and so on and so forth. The human eye only can detect 60, roughly, yeah? And out of the 60, maybe only a subset. So bringing tools that can help to detect abnormalities, this is what we do. This is what we have also launched already 2 years ago, a platform where these tools developed from Bayer, but also from other companies are available, and we now start to bring it into the clinical workflow, which itself has its challenges. But let's talk about the contrast piece for another second. It's an interventional procedure for the human body. So think about, you can go away from that. Sounds a little bit crazy from a company like Bayer that is earning a lot of money with that, yeah? But we think there are opportunities with new technology maybe to reduce the contrast. And for that, we also engage with other companies, with partnerships, with startups, like with Subtle Medical, it's a US-based startup, to jointly research how we can reduce contrast and enhance the contrast signal with technology like AI or Gen AI, or shorten the scan time. Yeah, if you have maybe an MRI scan, it feels not always good to be in the scanner for 30 minutes, maybe reducing that scan time to a much lower portion. That is benefiting the patient and also helps the society, because at the same time you can have more patients getting a scan. Yeah? So, and then you need the solutions for the radiologists. So if you already have more patients getting a scan, we already today face a shortage of radiologists. Burnout for radiologists is a big topic. Increasing volume, so we need to have technology that helps to cope with that.
And maybe to complement your view, Guido, I think if we take a more of a holistic approach and we look at all patients we serve, I think at Medtronic we have 74 million patients served every year, and if you do some math, it's about 2 patients per second, per minute, per every day. And it's not about reinventing something, it's not about how do we get a new device or how do we get a new technology to the patient. It's more about compatibility and interoperability. I think we talked yesterday, someone brought it up yesterday in one of the sessions. It becomes more and more important. So what is the infrastructure? What are these companies and technologies we can use already that are easy to implement, that are easy to embed in the existing system? Because it becomes very hard for us to change the existing system, but maybe there's something we can leverage through this compatibility and interoperability concept.
Yeah. And let's jump into the opportunities. Let's go to the future. How do you see Gen AI or even general intelligence changing the future of healthcare? Perhaps Irina, you can share your experience working at the University of Oxford, please.
I guess there is the kind of 2 questions, how it can change, and maybe through the talent and the new talent that is coming into the business leadership. I think we are moving towards something that will be fully customized and personalized, and this is something we cannot stop we will be there. And of course, institutions, business schools are also very much aware, and they're trying to adopt the education programs, the top level educational programs today. As an industry advisor to the site Business School, University of Oxford, together with other experts from tech companies, from healthcare sector, we have been seeing increasingly this openness of the most conservative representatives of the educational world and MBA programs adopting the AI in the core curriculum. 4 or 5 years ago, there was just one module on business with AI. Today, we have a master's degree in AI specialized in healthcare with specific module on generative AI. And there is over 30 departments in Oxford studying AI right now. What it means that leaders of the future become much savvier in AI. It means we see doctors, medical doctors, developing their digital twins, bots for the hospitals, extending their expertise using the AI tools, and they are proving the scalability, the economic viability in their hospitals. So that's, again, if a few years ago, AI in hiring, talent management was just a dessert on the menu, nice to have, but not mandatory for some. And today it's just part of the main course.
I would agree and disagree to a certain extent. I would fully agree that the new generation is going to be a lot more keen to be using these technologies. Where I would disagree is I think it's going to take a little bit more time in terms of adoption than a lot of people think, just because, I mean, in our space, we are very good at innovating technology-wise. The big challenge we face is change management. And if a couple of years ago, maybe 10, 15 years ago, when there was like the first wave of EMRs and EHRs in the US that was really fueled by a bunch of government programs, and there was I would say, the first big wave of digital transformation in the healthcare delivery space, we had a very big challenge, like onboarding physicians and clinicians and nurses and hospital administrative folks on those solutions. Because, and by the way, if you guys have never watched this video, I strongly recommend you on YouTube, just Google "Let Doctors Be Doctors." It was an Aetna-sponsored thing, and it's a very funny video because people don't necessarily have the interest in using something that disrupts their workflow. And unless we are very good at having a very smooth user experience, it's going to remain a big challenge in terms of adoption, just because they want to be doctors. They don't necessarily want to be dealing with additional tools, even if at the end of the day, these tools can probably bring a lot of benefits. It's not true across the board. Going back to the imaging space, obviously there's a huge shortage of radiologists, and when you give a radiologist the ability to read MRI sequences that he would have otherwise spent 40 minutes doing, the ability to do that in a few minutes and even have a pre-prepared report that he can just read and sign, that's very easy to adopt. But I don't think it's going to be the same kind of adoption rate or level across the board.
And maybe also to add on that, a little bit in between the agreement and the disagreement part, from the medical schools, I think there's a good adoption, definitely. From the surroundings, so hospital administration, payers, healthcare insurance, governments, we are not prepared there at all. So if in Germany, for instance, we just introduced an electronic patient record. Yeah? Very, very good, but it will take time. So change management is definitely key, and we should focus to the entire ecosystem that is dealing around the patient, and medical schools are, I think, a little bit more advanced.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so that perhaps it's a question for venture capital. Where do you see the future areas of scope for investment in AI?
I think it's again, at the risk of sounding like super boring, imaging is going to continue being probably one of the lowest hanging fruits and an area where we can see quick demonstrations. And even if it's one of the lowest hanging fruits, it's also an area where we just scratched the surface. And there is so much to do in terms of improving workflows, in terms of using AI to put some existing hardwares or hardware limitations on steroids. Think about like an MRI that you can use, but give like the resolution of a 3 Tesla, but still using a 1.5 Tesla kind of thing, or maybe using like simple ultrasound, but giving it like the ability to see things that you can't see otherwise. So I think that's going to continue being like a very big area of focus. I would say that's the short to medium term view. As you're constructing a portfolio, taking a few bets on the conversions of drug discovery, drug development, and AI is definitely a very interesting area. We'll look at that, but typically when we look at those opportunities, we definitely are on the hunt for companies that have already established big partnerships with large pharma, because the challenge is, unless you have those partnerships and you can have a vetted interest of big pharma with these companies, you have a survivorship bias. What I mean by that is a lot of companies, I mean, big pharma does not publish failed trials. It's normal. They only publish good results. So as a company that's using AI to build models and enhance the drug discovery, drug development process, if you're only basing yourself on data you can get here and there on successful trials, you're missing out on a lot. The advantage of dealing with big companies that give you, like, open their books to you, is you build a lot more robust models.
And how are you collaborating with startups to bring on board technology, AI, inside the corporation? What are your open innovation programs? What are you doing to bring these technologies inside a large corporate?
How do we integrate this collaboration? That's the question.
Yeah, the collaboration between corporate and startup, how do you see that?
I guess there is a few ways, right? There is, you would largely have a group that would be looking into investments and, let's say, inorganically develop capabilities, should it be AI, generative AI, to integrate it. But there is also, I think there is some sort of labs. We have seen it in medtech companies, venture labs, where we try to bring the best talent, subject matter experts, inject some dollars, and that's, the incubates the ideas. And I must say that it's not that easy, right? And that's probably the next question. We're going to discuss the challenges and some, we have labs, right? If you don't have business, you have a lab. So how to bring this idea from this lab and put it to the market? Very few do actually, survive a pressure test. So that's one of the challenges. I don't know if my partners here will share it.
Yeah, also, I think, first of all, we start all time really to look what is the need, what is the demand, what's the problem to solve, and is AI, Gen AI, a solution for that? Or is there another solution? So we have programs like incubation or collaboration labs, innovation hubs, where we try to invite, we run hackathons, where we try to invite, we have events like this today, that have Take Forward, where we meet with people and exchange on ideas. At the end of the day, I think it's again, very important, there's no innovation without collaboration. Yeah? So being open, and especially now that we have, we can talk with a lot of personal experience. You can go to ChatGPT or Gemini to ask a question and might get even a better answer. But maybe this answer is missing some of the experience that are there. The intersection of healthcare or pharmaceutical companies or medical device companies with startups, we need to come into ecosystem builds. We need to make it scalable, and we need to make it understandable. Mm-hmm. And this is a process. It comes back again to change management, because we from pharma, we are not a technology company. we have different genes, and we need also to understand the tech guys much better, and vice versa. Yes, we can program very quickly an imaging detection tool. Will it survive a submission at a regulatory body? Most likely not.
Yeah.
And
Great.
that's the way to figure out.
And let's jump into the challenges, perhaps. And we've seen that the buyers in healthcare are double-checking when they are buying AI-driven medical devices, certified even, no? So what are the challenges that you are envisioning regarding the adoption? No? And perhaps this is another topic that it's of interest.
Well, there are a couple of areas. I mean, number one, going back to your point about like being understandable, healthcare does not like you know, the whole mantra of Silicon Valley about innovation working by breaking things does not work in healthcare. In healthcare, we like precision. We like to understand things because there's a patient at the end of the day. We're not developing video games. It's something that has an impact on people, on patients. So I think the whole black box thing just does not work. The concept of understandability is critically important. The second thing is being able to actually demonstrate the return on investment or the value proposition of the company. A lot of companies are going to be developing some technologies and they're like, well, our technology is going to help you save time and make these benefits and blah, blah, blah. And by the way, we sell it for $50K per year per seat as a license, etc. It's a hypothesis. For a very long time, you're going to have to, as a company, and for us as investors, take into account the fact that you need to sustain the company while it's going through the hoops of demonstrating that the hypothesis is actually true. Number three, I say hospitals are now being inundated, not only hospitals, but clients are inundated with new solutions. So there was a time when the first days of this digital transformation window opening, when you approached a client or a hospital, you were probably company number 3 or 4 approaching them that week. Now you're probably taking position number 100. So how about you take a number and go wait, because you know what, my IT resources are busy doing something else. And by the way, it's costing me a lot of money. So how about you subsidize my cost to doing that? So I think all of that needs to be taken into account.
That's a super interesting point that some of the companies that are attending here the event, no? And what we see when we look at the business plan of early stage companies, that they are getting a little bit confused of the process of getting that to the market, no? And my question was, how big is the budget, no, for deploying a solution and convince the healthcare ecosystem to adopt it, no? And sometimes, no, as we were discussing, no, it's like not enough, perhaps.
Yeah, it's rarely enough.
We are running out of time, so I'm going to ask you to give me your vision, no? 5 years from now vision, a takeaway for the audience. How do you see the adoption? How do you see the opportunities of generative AI in this industry? So perhaps, Irina, you want to start?
Well, my answer is that I don't know, but I think that being a dreamer, but also being on the business side and hard, you know, to prove the value proposition and scalability, adaptability. I think I guess, look, we need to demystify this a little bit, right? AI has been here for a long time. It's been 50 years. We just started talking about this relatively recently. But I don't think there will be a major shift in 5 years, but we hope that the system will be more ready. So this readiness for adoption will change. And I think we are moving into this new era of customized, personalized medicine or healthcare solutions.
Okay, quick takeaway, Guido.
Quick one, I envision that we will see much more robust ecosystems growing to enable more adoption.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I hope I didn't give the crowd a negative view on the system. I think we're cautious, but at the same time, this is a massive transformation. This is probably like one of probably the fourth wave of innovation in healthcare. first wave, like being like chemistry, and then biotech companies, and then medical devices. This is really going to push the boundaries of healthcare. The big challenge for us as investors, innovators, and companies and big corporates is the ability to cut through the noise, because now everywhere you go, everybody's talking about AI. I would presume that not everybody has a very good understanding of all the elements. So I think caution is going to be important there, and being able to really cut through the noise.
Okay, so thank you all for attending the panel, and let's continue to see what the future for generative AI in this amazing healthcare industry.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.